Show of hands. Cool. All right, awesome. How many people have visited a website? Show of hands. All right, cool. So we're going to get back to that in a little bit. So I'm Matt. I'm a hacker, but I work for nonprofits, NGOs, whoever telephone that is, I work for them too. And for civil society to protect them from other hackers, right? Because it takes a hacker to kind of catch a hacker. A lot of people in here like to do good things, but whatever you define as good, it's kind of a personal definition. When you have a small win, someone has a small loss, but that's kind of, you don't think about that. When you have a big win, someone has a big loss. And that person or persons is usually not used to losing. It's kind of people I work with are not used to winning, When you have a lot of power, influence, money, and you don't know what it's like to lose or be embarrassed, you're beside yourself. And you will use any means to make sure that never happens again. And that's the world we live in. And that's why I do what I do. Let's talk about what I do. So one of the things I do is I have a crypto party that now it's like really hard to find a time when I'm actually in New York, but next time I'm in New York, it's going to happen. So I like to say that it's every month. It's in Harlem. And a crypto party is this thing where you can go into a room like this one, full of really smart people, like this one, with big smiles. See, just checking, okay, like this one. And you can just learn together. There's a facilitator, but you're there to teach and to learn, and so is the person who designs to set this up. And on this website, CryptoParty.in, you can find crypto parties all around the world in any city, right? It used to be that it was super hard to find a crypto party in New York City. Then David Huerta showed up, and now there's a million crypto parties with all kinds of crazy people in Brooklyn, the Bronx, whatever. So I remember when I was just a little crypto baby, and I went to my first crypto party here in New York, and I just wanted to check it out. I kind of blend in, so I just kind of sat in the background, and no one really thinks that I'm there for that. But David was doing a great job. It's really nice, so nice to follow him, because he's done so many great things for New York and this whole scene. I was inspired to take what I saw and kind of remix it for my community and do some good for my community, and I had Crypto Harlem. And so Crypto Harlem's been running for quite a few years now, and it's every month, so please come on up, you're welcome. It's for all people. We talk about current events and how it affects us. We talk about security, talk about technology. But most importantly, we like to talk about surveillance and why that is. We talk about digital security, digital safety, but why? Why do we even have to be safe? Who are we being safe from? And what can we do really, in our position to have some semblance of security and privacy realistically? That's what we talk about. Surveillance doesn't affect all people the same. Surveillance isn't metered out evenly. If you're marginalized, you're black or brown, lesbian, gay, trans, gender nonconforming, you're seen as a suspicious other. You're not like other people, and surveillance is a way to just kind of peer into you. No one's going to ask, are you up to no good? When they can just see through X-ray style your data to find out. And even if you aren't up to no good, maybe I'll take this sentence and that sentence, stick it together, and come to my own definition. So Crypto Harlem's here for your self-defense and for you to learn, and it's a safe space, and it's a really cool space, right, David? It's cool? Yeah, see? And so definitely that's my little Crypto Harlem thing. So that's one thing that I do. Another thing that I do is I travel around the world working with journalists who are in places where they find that it's really hard to do their job, and where they're facing digital threats that are kind of like this invisible bully, knocking down their school book and hitting, making them spill their milkshake, right? And that's what it's like, you're just trying to do a great job and do some solid reporting, and there's a digital threat that you have no way to protect yourself from. Your friends tell you about the press badge and the bulletproof vest and the helmet, but there's a lot of myths and bad recommendations on how to protect yourself from digital threats. So I go to places and keep people safe and kind of simulate the problem before they actually find it. And so they know, like, okay, this is what it's like when my phone gets taken over. This is what it's like when someone's sneaking in to my laptop from my inbox. And so, you're prepared, right? And then the last thing I do, I'd say, is working inside the United States with activists, which are people who I really love, because who doesn't love action? By very definition, an activist is someone who's just all about action, right? Nothing that we have, that we love in today's world was, given to us. An activist had to act it into being. And there are people who are having a difficult time just trying to be a human being in this country, and activists fight for the liberation and freedom of whoever their people are, and I love that. So I'm always about that. So I just want to talk about. Remember when I asked who's visited a website before, right? How about when I said who had Facebook? I saw a lot of hands go up. I know you don't have Facebook; you deleted it, but I actually still have a Facebook account. I like to teach people that you can do anything safer. You can cook safer, you can juggle chainsaws safer. Maybe that's what Facebook's like. It's like juggling chainsaws, but I want to do it for some reason. There's always a safer way to do stuff. So I'm not for abstinence. I'm for look, let's just try to figure it out, right? So inside the United States, we have this new president. And when this new president was elected, some people thought, you know what? I don't need to be in November of 2017 to know that this is not going to be good. So those people who, they have a lot more foresight than we did, they thought, the least we can do is the most American thing is just protest, right? Let's organize, let's use Facebook, let's use websites, let's get everyone together and say, listen, everyone, let's let people know that we're not happy about this. And so they marched, which is a very American thing to do. And they marched to DC, and, they let their voices be heard, let their voices be heard. But some people lit a limousine on fire. I mean, I like lights and I like heat, but, that probably wasn't the best thing. And there was, a scuffle. It was very embarrassing. Law enforcement had never seen something like that before. There was a small element that was like black bloc that was just like, let's smash some windows. So what became of that, right? So let's look at what became of that. There's this website that, law enforcement, whether it's federal or local law enforcement, thought that's very embarrassing. So let's go to the #1 police of this land, the Department of Justice. Let's try to figure out who embarrassed us, and let's drag him out into the light of day. And so the website, Disrupt J20, was just singled out. We think that this is the website where everyone came from, and this is where it all happened. So let's ask DreamHost, this Los Angeles kind of cool LA style hosting company, right? Hey, DreamHost, it's the Department of Justice knocking on your door, and we want every visitor to that website, every IP address. That could be you. You visit websites, you told me, right? And the IP addresses of everyone who works there. All the FTP traffic, kind of website building traffic, that stuff too. Visitor traffic and the backside, right? The back door. And also, let's not stop there. We want the Facebook. We want everyone who joined that Facebook group. I idly click on liking and joining Facebook groups left and right? But anyone who's a member of this Facebook group, we feel like we want to know who they are and where they are. So that's really a thing. That really happened. I don't know. It's still kind of happening. To DreamHost's benefit, I think they did a great job, and they verbally said, this is happening, and we want to fight it, and we don't want to stand for this. And so the ACLU kind of showed up and have them lawyer up, and the Electronic Frontier Foundation showed up, and they got to lawyer up, and they pushed back. And they said, do you really need all the IP, all the addresses of every single person? Because your IP address is your internet protocol address. That's where you live. If I was who is this IP address at 2 o'clock on Tuesday, I would find you in Red Hook, or you in Brooklyn, And you can't fight, maybe it was your phone or maybe it's your laptop, but it was someone in your apartment or your home. And they pushed back and they won, kind of. There was a DC federal judge said, you know what, I feel like that's a little bit overreach. You don't get all the IP addresses. Just the ones of the people who maybe work there. You push the file onto the website, that's different. But just a visitor, that seems a little bit too much, So it's the same kind of thing. we don't, like a lot of times we think about like, digital threats of like, someone's hacking your email or, things like that. But in reality, it's everything we do is electronic. There's a computer inside everything. There's a computer inside this microphone, I bet, right? So because of that, this technology, it has a positive, has and a negative. You can have nuclear energy that can run a city for pennies, and no one will ever have to pay electricity bills. Or nuclear energy can turn a city into ashes. We have to be critical, and that's the kind of thing that I'm asking you to do. And before I wrap up, one last thing. I decided that I know a little bit more about technology than the people around me. That's what I thought. Little did I know, because they taught me a lot. And I decided to reach out to my community in Harlem and just say, listen, 3 hours, open office, you can just hop in, hop out, just talk about stuff, and let's try to make things better. I reached out to all kinds of different activists, causes that I believe in and causes that I had yet not known about. And I said, what can I do with my computer skills to help you a little bit, And I think that everyone who's sitting here, you come from a community. When you think like, these are my people, there's friends there, there's a smile on your face. There's a storm coming, and it's on all of us to look out for them and look out for each other. So that's it, thanks.